Welcome back to our channel, Aspire Higher with Charles and Yvana Bailey. And listen, we need your support. If you have not done this, I want you right now to go ahead and click subscribe. Just really quick. Boop. Clicked it. Thank you. I felt the love. We feel the love. That's all you need to do. Today is going to be so amazing because you're going to learn about how you can build a strong belief system, what also strategies you can implement in your day-to-day life, and how that can be the foundation when storms hit. There are a couple of things that are happening that are super exciting. We have summer here. Well, kind of here. In Florida's always hot.
I mean,
so
sometimes it's exciting. It's hot.
It's so hot. But a couple of things are hot off the press.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. If you hadn't already, please take a look at our new book, second edition, The Flight of Your Life,
Whoop, whoop.
published under our own private publishing
That's
white
huge.
label.
Yes.
We're excited because we're trying our best to give opportunities to creatives and people who have inspirational stories.
Come on.
They can use this as a platform to then leave legacy. We always talk
right.
about impact, and we
right.
always talk about setting higher aspirations, but there's no greater aspiration than making an impact on someone else's life. And I think there's no greater way to do that than leaving something that can be here even if you were to leave. Man, so we're super excited to have that. And you did something great. You just did a global presentation.
I did. It was a global presentation.
For?
It was absolutely amazing for leadership. Oh my gosh, leadership on the executive level, being able to speak into women's lives all throughout the countries, Greece, Turkey, UK, America, of course. But it felt so good because one thing I know about public speaking is that I embrace it.
Of course.
Whether, you have nerves, whatever, but to truly be ready when it's time and you get the call that, hey, we're looking for a speaker that can speak to, and you've already done the work. It means everything
Of
to
course.
me. It means everything.
And that's the important thing. You were already doing the work, and that's one of the things we can start at the top of the show.
Yes.
You have to be willing to put in the work. But what are we talking about? We're talking about self-belief.
That's right.
The belief system you have that maybe needs to be improved. I know you heard this incredible quote. One, I think I actually heard it too. The magic that you're looking for is often found in the work that you're avoiding. What a great way to start the show. What a great way to start the show. All right, go ahead, please.
First, yesterday I was speaking with a client, and it was so beautiful because she was so honest. She just said, and I believe honesty it unlocks everything.
Sure.
So with her authenticity, she expressed that she wants to do this big thing. She wants to have people from all over gather together in the islands in the Caribbean and have their opportunity to shine, right?
Yeah.
And learn under specific things. But anyway, the long story short, she discussed that there were certain things years ago that she had built up to this point to be able to release to her audience, but she did not and still has not done it for fear of becoming an imposter. Oh my God. She wanted to release something, but was afraid because her belief system got in the way. And it was not strong, but it did have a pull and it did have a hold on her being able to release this whole product that she built. And so with that, it reminds me because at the top of this year, I already had different creations within me. Sure. They were brewing. I could not find a word for 2024 because I felt like the word was already in me. Sure. And I also felt that it's my time to leave something. We've been doing things, but there's another moment where I felt I needed to impact women's lives specifically. I have a target market, I have a voice to that market, and I have professionalism and credibility in those areas.
You better believe you do.
Okay? And with that being said, I found such freedom, but also, in a sense, an enslaved moment. I'll be honest. Because sometimes as creators, we can feel excited because something's birthed within us. But the labor pains.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the travail.
Not even putting a deadline to when you need to release it after you've created it.
That makes it tough too now. But that's another principle.
That's a whole.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
It was everything to me to be able to fight through releasing what I birthed. I knew for a fact that it was attached to lives, and I knew it was attached to souls.
Yeah,
and I said, if I can get over myself
yeah.
and maybe the critical aspect of like, okay, it has to be this way, it has to be that way. I mean, there's a level of excellence. Forget perfectionism. I don't seek that. I seek excellence.
Yeah.
And if I believe that I have divine inspiration to create something, that level of excellence better show up in my work. And so when it did show up, I was so like, it felt laborious. Like I had done all that work and now I wanted to hold it back. It's almost like, how did that even sound? Because people can relate to this. I know it. The magic, yes, can be in what you've created, but the detriment is when you don't release it or release it on time. And so I remember feeling in those moments, okay, I have got to do everything in my might to find accountability. I have got to, because within me, I was burnt out.
Yeah.
I know someone's felt this, like you've created something or the PowerPoint or you've given
well, it took
the
you a long time to get it there. And now you're at the finish line.
Now you're at the finish line and you're gassed out. You're gassed out with the G, right? And so the problem is your momentum dies off there.
Sure.
And my propulsion, I saw it, but there was nothing that was pushing me forward anymore because I'm like, okay, I did it. Yeah. I created it. But then I remember, just because a thing is created doesn't mean that you can't still practice. Yeah, so I remember practicing the material over and over without getting a booking, without getting the speaking engagement. And over the few course of months, I said to myself, as long as I'm ready, the opportunity will find me.
Well, that's the reality. And it's funny because we talk about attraction. And the beautiful thing about attraction is in order for you to attract anything, you have to be attractive. And I'm not talking about physically, but really speaking in a concept that we often forget is people want what they want, but they're not willing to become what it requires.
That's right.
And sometimes the process is literally building you into the person that your vision's showing you is possible for you, but you've got to be willing to commit to the work. But you said something so incredible, and I hope you get this when I say it. And it's a beautiful thing. You talked about the momentum. You're doing all the work. Yeah. You've grinded. You've built what was necessary, but now you get to the end and you run out of steam. But here's what I love about film, and that's coming from two actors, right? Is a lot of times when you see films where someone has to move into their destiny, let's say even classic, Angels in the Outfield, they have a limit on how much help they can offer you. Because the whole point was not for you to believe in them. They were trying to get you to believe in you.
Come on.
So they'll get you all the way to the end.
Yes.
And you just have to take the final steps and cross the line.
Yes.
But the problem is that if you don't learn along the way that everything you've ever needed was already on the inside of you, you won't realize that they were really supporting you.
That's right. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Very good point. I think a lot of people, let me go with the quote I just heard from Dr. Miles Monroe, a legend.
Sure.
He was discussing how God will give you a vision and people will see, and he also made an analogy about like dreams. Like I have a dream to do this. He said, the problem is that it's a vision to show you the end. And so when you get that end vision or you have that, wow, okay, here's my final product that I saw it in my mind. But you have no idea of the travail it's going to take to get to that destination. That is some of the hardest things that I've noticed and I've personally dealt with was having a vision for something, yet knowing that it's going to take everything to get me from this point of destination to that point.
It's like the Infinity Stones, though. If someone asks you when you get to the place that you see meant for you, what did it cost? The only answer should be coming out of your mouth, everything.
Everything, yeah.
Because I gave all of who I was to become this. It's just like when people look for success, overnight successes. They say the average overnight success took 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years of no one knowing their name, and then all of a sudden they just come out of nowhere. No, I've been grinding.
Yes.
I've been working on myself.
Yes. And it's always to the respect, like when I look at Les Brown or I look at, I mean, there's so many great legends in speaking. Names. And when I look at the people at the top, one thing I'm very careful to do, especially celebrity status, I'm very careful to just pay homage to the result.
Just pause for a second.
Okay. Can we continue?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good.
Incredible.
I'm very careful. Because I'm seeing the end product. I'm seeing the end result that everyone's celebrating now. But what did it take? What did it cost them?
What did it cost?
What did it cost them?
And I'm not talking about the crazy cost that some people talk about.
No. What did it cost
But
them?
what the
What did they
reality?
sacrifice?
That's right.
What was the pain? What was the pressure? And that's why when I do interact with celebrities, when I do talk to people at the top level, the very first thing I say is, how are you truly?
Who are you and how are you?
Period.
Yeah.
Period. I don't want an autograph. Please
I don't need it. Yeah.
No, we're on the same level. Don't.
Absolutely.
I don't want that.
Girl, you better talk right. That's right.
I don't need it. I need to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
I need to know that you are seen, you are valued,
seen.
you're honored, respected, and loved, not for what you have done and the end result.
Yeah.
I'm asking you about you
But
from
you
the
will
inside.
only know that if you've been working toward what was meant for you.
Come on.
Because you have to have a level of self-belief.
That's right.
That self-belief will project a level of confidence.
Come on.
That, you remember the old phrase, real recognize real?
Absolutely.
Game recognize game?
Right.
That's a street concept that applies to everything in life.
It does.
I know when I've seen someone who's been in the dark, when you had that little idea that everybody thought was stupid or crazy, would never get done.
That's right.
And then you did it anyway.
Right.
When nobody supported you. I love there's a Christian song I love, and it's a rap. He says, everyone says they got you till it's time to get you. Then they forget you. Then when you win again, now they dismiss you. Think about this.
That's a lot.
Until it's time to win again, now they're back with you.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. That's a lot of back and forth.
But you have to have, and I know I stuttered a little bit, but you have to have a strong self-belief.
Conviction.
Hey, girl, you better use the word. Let's just talk about
conviction. You have to have a strong belief, yes. To be convicted of oneself is the underlying root of confidence.
Are y'all getting this? I'm telling you right
it's
now.
For free, so why not?
I'm going to go on the other side of the camera and take some notes real quick, because I'm telling you, you have to have something that goes beyond just, I believe in myself.
No.
I am certain.
Right.
When you look at me, I know you know me well enough to know I am determined.
100%.
I am so determined and destined to do all the things I'm meant to do.
That's right.
I don't care if my life only has a few more years, but I'm going to maximize it.
That's right.
I'm asking God to be gracious so I have more.
That's right.
But I'm doing everything every day, all I can, all the time to make sure. And I see that in you. That's exactly what you're talking about at the beginning of the show. The product that you had, and even speaking to the client, you have something on the inside of you. You have something on the inside of you. But you're going to have a conviction. I don't really like the word obsessed. We don't want to get obsessed. We're talking about conviction.
Right.
That if no one else supported you, if no one else saw the vision, if no one else felt it, understood it, or even understood you, which is something you're going to have to learn to get over.
Right.
It's not about always being understood.
Come on.
Because when you have a conviction and a strong self-belief, I don't care if you're confused, but I know for a fact I'm not confused. And when you see me get there, you're going to ask, how did I do it?
Exactly.
That's what you have to live in. That's what I see in you when I see you. But anyway, just thought I would give you some flowers too alongside.
I love that.
Go ahead.
I really do adopt many times as I'm creating.
Yeah.
And some, even more recently, we talked about different opportunities that I had, and maybe someone wanted to alter what you've created, right? What I've created.
Oh gosh, talk about it now. Again,
God. So let me say this
there's
really
a level
quick.
of professionalism there, but I got you.
How can one develop the position of the learner at all times?
Talk about it, Coach.
That is something that I had to really embrace, because when you're a teacher, sometimes it can be challenging to learn when it's already been taught. You've already tried it, the concept's already been proven. So for instance, if let's say you're a creator or you're an educator, you're a doctor that's come up with the solution.
Yeah.
When someone challenges it, tries to get you to redo it or reframe it in their lens, that can create problems.
It can.
Potentially
Potential problems. Right.
But the cool part about it was that I understood something.
And now let's talk about this.
When you're working with organizations, when you're working with teams, when you're working in the corporate structure, when you're working in the workplace, there's always going to be someone that could potentially undermine your work, undermine your talent, your skill, and ability, right? You have to, number one, develop your constant narrative. Who am I?
That's right.
I am a woman who, I am a man who, right? And then when they challenge your talent or whatever you created, you step into another part of, okay, I know who I am. I am now willing, because I know who I am now willing to adopt a seat of humility. I am now willing to give them the voice so that they can be heard, because maybe that's all they needed today. I mean, it takes everything to be selfless. It don't really take much to be selfish, I'll be honest. But to be selfless and in the position of understanding how to adopt a position as a learner. It's everything. It challenged me. But go ahead.
Well, I wanted to add to that because I watched you go through this process, and I want to speak this to you too, because this is what we struggle with as a culture oftentimes.
Of course.
We don't want to hear someone else's input, so we kind of label it. And then we've also kind of given it these bad connotations, but sometimes it's meant to help you. I watched this woman, not that she hadn't done it for other companies and other corporations. It's normal for us. As a professional speaker, we get paid to make our message tailor to the audience.
That's right.
But sometimes there's so many voices that people are trying to insert or inject their thoughts and fears. But here's what I have to make sure I highlight for what I saw you do, and I want you to understand you need to do and start doing it today. When you have a genuine system of self-belief, a strong conviction of what you carry, it doesn't matter if the thing that you're using to convey the message is altered, because you are the bearer of the message.
That's right.
I watched you take all that they gave you and you took it to the next. They said they never had this type of engagement. It was 800% higher than any other hired speaker they'd ever brought in the history of their company.
Listen.
Because you weren't focused on the vehicle.
Right.
You were focused on being the vehicle.
That's right.
Because you had a self-belief that you were there to deliver a message, even if they took all them slides down.
Take them all down. It's rooted in me. That's what happens when you practice, though, right?
Self-belief.
Okay, good. Exactly.
That's right.
That's it. So it's such a term that is like, we all use it. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
Understood.
Stay ready, right? Staying ready is so important.
Yes.
Because when you know that an opportunity could come, or you're believing for an opportunity, like some people are just like, I just need a better job. I just need an opportunity to shine. I need for my boss to recognize me. Well, what are you doing in the meantime to stay ready?
Sure.
What does your posture look like as you're staying ready?
The posture, because that really dictates whether you really believe it or not.
And check this. If I was arrogant and egotistical enough to say, this is my product, I'm not doing anything you're asking me to do because I'm the speaker, I'm the one paid, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, I would be doing not only my audience a disservice.
You might not have been doing it at all.
But if it's contracted, I will be. I'll tell you that right now. Thank God for the black and white.
Hey,
but with that being said, it's like, that's not my character, but it is somebody's. It is somebody in the audience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak to this moment, because when you challenge your character, it's not only for your development, but it's for a linear progression to where you don't know when someone's going to come at you and confront something that might be offensive to you or personal to you in the creative space, right?
Creative space.
And with that, if you practice the seat of humility,
that's right.
If you practice, and some people don't even know what humility is.
I can understand that.
So humility could look like, in a sense, I do things my way.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this opportunity, for the sake of this moment, I am going to assume the seat of a listener. I'm going to assume the seat of someone who knows that I have the expertise, but will let them talk anyway. That's it.
Sure.
With
be willing to receive.
With that.
Yeah.
When you take the seat of humility, you're always going to be exalted. That's a principle.
That's a principle.
That is an absolute principle. So in this voice of what we're speaking about, I had to maintain a level of professionalism that looked like I have a product, it's going to speak for itself. Yeah. But in the meantime, one way my posture is going to stay ready is to understand that I am always going to be able to give the honor to someone else, even if I feel like they don't deserve it. But I am going to do that continually because that's a part of my character.
Yeah. But you know, it's interesting. As you were speaking, Coach, I was listening to what you were saying. A lot of times we forget that the root of not having a strong self-belief is that we have a stronger root in fear.
Oh,
Now, let me say this first because I want to make sure I package this a little differently than
Okay.
the way we've spoken about it in the past.
okay.
When you have a sincere self-belief, you can't help but project the confidence because you're
Absolutely.
practiced.
Right.
In our book, The Flight of Your Life, we talk about practice making programmed. In fact, we have a show, you may want to check it out, it's one of our past episodes, where we talk about that. Practice doesn't make permanent, practice doesn't make perfect, because there's no perfect practice, but practice does make programs.
That's right.
Think like an athlete. If you rehearse situations over and over and over, and watch this, like an actor, if you rehearse in different ways every time you rehearse it, instead of sticking to
ready.
the way you
Come on.
envision it and see it, you'll be prepared for anything.
That's right. That's right.
What that means is the strength you'll find in your self-belief is knowing that no matter what gets thrown at you, you got it.
Right.
Because you've been through this situation or a
Right.
similar situation
That's right.
before.
Come on.
And this key that I'm about to tell you is one of the biggest ones I can give you. It's a simple word that's used in business and sport, and it's called agility. The people who are truly confident in their gifts, their skills, their talents and ability, they can make a change on a dime and you wouldn't even notice anything happen.
Absolutely. That's
You
right.
wouldn't know the difference.
Why?
Because they have a strong self-belief,
That's
not
it.
just in who they are,
That's right.
but what they came to do.
Come on.
And they
The
know
work
they can
put
do
in.
it
That's right.
because I've done it.
Thank you. Thank you. And so for the one that's not doing anything right now,
That's
I
what we're
challenge and
talking about.
encourage you and empower you
Empower.
to do it.
Mm.
To do it.
Mm.
I mean, I would just quote Nike. They didn't sponsor us yet, but just do it.
And we, we don't
Just
want
do
them
it.
coming after us for using the slogan, but
No,
nonetheless.
do it. Stop trying
Yes.
to avoid
Mm-hmm.
what you know you're meant to do. Read that quote
Which
one more time.
I was
for
just
me.
gonna
Read
say-
that quote one more
Now,
time.
there's
for me.
two-
Just the same one that you started
the
with.
magic,
The magic
that you are
Uh-huh.
looking for
Right.
is found in the work that you're avoiding.
I can't tell you how negligence has robbed so many people of the treasures
Oh, gosh.
within their bloodline,
Oh my gosh.
within themselves,
Themselves.
within their future selves, children,
Yeah.
waiting on those gifts to be birthed, but you're
Yeah.
still not birthing it. And so the crazy thing is that when you're negligent or avoiding what you need to be promoting
Yeah.
and protecting, it's like you're doing yourself a disservice. And I've seen so many entrepreneurs in this position. I've seen
Sure.
so many people.
9 to 5. I mean, what are you talking? Anywhere.
9 to 5
College students.
employees.
Yeah.
College students.
Absolutely.
There's so many things because of fear of man, because I don't know if I'm really that good. You start to clout the very thing that was meant to shine.
Yeah.
I mean, just illuminate your work. And maybe that's just it. Illuminate your work. To illuminate something is to shed light onto it,
Yeah.
right? To expose it under light. So if you're going to illuminate it, put it out there. I had someone tell me,
Sure.
I can't put out my product because someone can steal it. If we aren't in the age where
I
everybody's
was gonna
stealing something
say,
from everybody,
I mean, come on
I
now.
mean, robots.
They can strip stuff you post.
Are you
I mean,
kidding?
but if it's not out there, you will never make the impact. One, and if you're trying to make income, you will never get paid for
Period.
something no one knows you're doing.
Thank-
If no one knows you're doing it, and that okay, let me just for a half second, I'm gonna stay on this step. That also is what self-belief is.
Yes.
I'll never forget. Years ago, I had a gentleman say to me, he said, "Bailey," he said, "one of the things I've learned from you is you're one of the greatest self-promoters I have ever seen." Small statement. I didn't think it was that. I always believed that if you have a gift or a talent, you should be putting it out in front.
Right, right.
Now, some people don't appreciate it, but they're not you.
Right.
Because like we said in our last episodes, your sheep will hear your voice.
That's right.
The people that need to see it and need to hear it will appreciate
That's
it.
right.
Just
That's
like
right.
this person said it to me. But that's the half step. I just want to share that because somebody's waiting on you to do it. But if you don't do it and you're just waiting, guess what? They don't move either. But I want to say this back to your first point about negligence. Jordan Peterson, one of the greatest minds, arguably, in psychology and also just human perspective. He was given a talk and he was talking about neglecting things. He said it's rooted in infantilism. It was a big word just to say that you're being a big baby.
Right.
He was like, because what you're doing is you're saying, I know there's something I need to do. Watch what I said. No one else. I can't put it on anyone else. I know there's something I need to do. But to make myself feel better, I'm not going to do it and just hope that it will somehow magically get done.
Wow.
That's what babies think.
I know.
I don't care how old, I don't care what position you've had or where you aspire to be. If you're not willing to take responsibility, you will never get it done. And that's why you can't believe in yourself, because you know that you're a person who doesn't get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we talk about being the CEO of YOU.
And I'm telling you, that's where we need to go.
That's in our book, The Flight of Your
That's
Life,
right.
The Power of Propulsion, which is being republished.
Under our own private label. Go
hello,
ahead.
And it's going to have a new look. So get excited for that.
Ahead.
But even with the point of, if, let's say, I really do feel for the creators, because we're in a space after the pandemic where so many people are branching out into their own thing. They're working a 9-to-5 to be able to invest and support and fund their true vision, right? Whether it's photography, whether it's film, whether it's a new business, real estate, it could be anything. But you do need to understand that while you are alone in this space of creation, would you hire, would you continue to bring on, or would you fire?
Yeah, yourself. That's right. And we have a whole
you have
show
to
dedicated
sit
to that.
into that episode, CEO of YOU.
And I have to say this because you just inspired what I had to say next. Some of you don't recognize that confidence. My wife is a confidence coach. Mm-hmm. I've watched her take clients through her process. Mm-hmm. And one of our processes we both handle is purpose periodization. Mm-hmm. But in the confidence portion, we have people do hard things consistently.
Yes.
Because confidence doesn't come just because you trust yourself. No, you have to learn to trust yourself because you know confidently that you'll do it even if it's hard.
Right. Inherent patterns too you develop.
And that's what we're trying to tell you. Some of you don't believe in yourself. Going back to a client who may not finish their work or may not get to the end of something. Right. There's some of you who just won't try, right? So that's another thing. But the point being had is you will get more than you bargain for if you will consistently try to make the effort. And here's the thing. Confidence is built over time doing little things repeatedly, and you will see confidence grow because you trust yourself to get things done. Your subconscious will see he says he's going to do X and Y by Z. Guess what? I could trust him more.
That's right. That's right. And some of you, I've felt this, that some of you maybe need to pause your own script, pause your tape, because the tape that you've been replaying over and over and over is the voice of pessimism. Mm-hmm. It's a critical, like overly critical. It's a rough tape you're playing. Tough. And it's a rehearsal in your mind that is set, mindset. It is set on producing with a negative outcome. If they're not going to pick up your book, if they're not going to pick up your product, if they're not going to choose you now on Amazon, or if they're not going to respect what you've created, you started saying that when nobody was even around.
Oh my gosh, Coach. Oh my gosh.
So,
oh my gosh.
Pause your tape real quick. Just pause it.
Because you're getting what you're saying.
Talk about, law of attraction, but as a man thinketh, so is he.
That's all it is.
That's another principle.
Absolutely.
That's way stronger. As a man thinketh, so is he. So if I think better and I develop a stronger core of myself being successful, and I speak that through cognitive restructuring and reframing that can begin right there in your home, in your mirror or on your phone with no filter, and you put the phone up and you start speaking. Maybe it takes 10 seconds. What I've developed will be a bestseller. Pause it, close the phone, you did it. Rehearse it that night, play it over. Start re-scripting the narrative, because every word that you speak has life or it has death.
Absolutely.
Well, what are you carrying in your tongue? What are you carrying in your tongue that is delaying you from progressing into the brilliance that you've been created to do?
And one of my favorite scriptures, and I'm so sorry, I know I accidentally crossed over you there, but talks about what Coach is talking about. Because faith comes by hearing.
That's right.
So if you're consciously and consistently speaking things, you're developing a belief system, watch this, in yourself.
Correct.
As opposed to a strong self-belief system.
Correct.
And you're literally speaking into a future that you don't have yet, like it's the present.
Right.
So when the time comes, guess what? It's going to be presented to you. We talk about that over and over, and it's probably one of the recurring themes in our show.
Because it knows you're ready.
Because you're presending
That's right.
what it is you're experiencing in your present.
Right.
But I know somebody out there listening is saying, but okay, you guys got a book. You guys got a podcast. You guys got the production studio.
Okay.
You guys travel and speak all over the world and internationally, and you speak all this stuff.
Thank God.
But wait, I'm saying that because I know some people get stuck there. Just like Coach talked about at the beginning, you see the result.
Yeah.
But what you don't see is us every day, whether it's in the office and no one's watching us, going through our slide deck, recreating it 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, asking questions, how can I make this better? I think we need a better graphic here. You don't see the small things we're doing consistently so that when someone does say, hey, can you do this? We've been prepared. And I'm saying this to encourage you because I don't want you to miss what you normally do. Don't get so wrapped up in the big image that you forget to break it down into small, repeatable disciplines.
That's right.
If you want to write a book, you don't have to write the whole book, guys.
One page.
We literally we started out with bullet points and paragraphs.
That's right. That's right.
And thoughts. And then we elaborated. But it took us years.
That's right. And I just felt this.
Say it.
There are those that want to be speakers. There are those that want to present their new ideas. Don't ever not be ready by this. One thing I know for a fact is that before I ever say a word to any audience, I envision before that moment what my result is going to be like. I envision the audience clapping. I envision me smiling. I envision me pouring out so deep that I'm exhausted at the end. I envision it. And some people miss that. They're so excited when they get the check or they're so excited when they get the opportunity, but they didn't even pre-send how they want the emotional state and regulation to be. Because even after you do a thing, there's some that live and ride that wind forever. Cool, great for you. But give yourself the opportunity to command what you want the outcome to be. That's also a belief system practice.
That's right.
That's exactly what I did. I recently had to present and I said, okay, I have my material, I've rehearsed, but now what do I want Yvana to feel like exactly when she's finished?
That's it, Coach.
How do I want to talk and deliver these points with fervor and enthusiasm? Sure. And then also, too, when the audience looks at me at the very end, what's the last moment I want them to remember?
Come on.
I'm giving you guys this for free.
That's some free game right here.
Done.
And I'm just telling you.
Listen, if you have not, please download this episode, share it with those who need to hear this message. And if we have to ask you again, please subscribe.
Like a mama did.
Please subscribe. It means everything to us because it makes us know that you are tuned in to what is going to help you, what is going to fuel you, what is going to empower and ignite you. That is our job as coaches. That is our job at Aspire Higher. And that is what we're so passionate to be able to give you for complimentary reasons. So please, if you know that I'm talking to you, even comment, let us know you're alive. We know that there are bots out here, but let us know that you're alive. And thank you, Charles, for all the points that you brought up because it added credibility, it added depth, and it added so much integrity to the voice when it comes to the belief system.
I appreciate
the belief
Coach.
system.
Absolutely.
And for the audience, 3 things you can do immediately in practice with your belief system. Cognitive restructuring, reframing. Look in the mirror. Start speaking what you want yourself to be. How you want yourself to arrive in the room before you get there. How you want your boss to honor you with the work you've already done, but you just need to have access with your tongue to release the truth about yourself. Speak in the morning. Command, second, what you want that to be like. I want this opportunity to yield me this. I want this opportunity to look like this. Start painting the picture because the world will frame around what you're painting, your vision. And the last thing, start to write down in your phone, on your tablet, whatever you have, tangibly write your vision and give yourself a timeline to execute so that you can always say, at least I did everything it took and I held myself accountable to the very end goal, regardless of whatever happens. Stop looking so far and seeing that vision and just holding on to that. Do the steps in between.
And I have to close by saying one thing to add to Coach Yvana's incredible, brilliant points. When you set expectations like that, quit expecting everyone to see you like that. until you're actually worthy. Do the work, and they will come around. Just because you set a vision in your mind of how you want them to treat you and see you doesn't mean that you're the person yet that should receive that. Do the work, as Coach just said, each step, and when you get to the end, expect it. Well, Coach, great job, of course. We appreciate having you always. Till next time, Coach Charles
and Yvana.